Yo, peace, peace. I'll leave back in the building. And I want to give you some information on how to stay motivated on the path. I know many of you fall off. You start out hard body, you're just meditating. If it's a health thing, you're eating right and doing certain things for your body. If it's on a spiritual path, you might have participated in certain rituals, magic, like I said, meditation, altar work. Depend on whatever path you're on. I'm talking about the spiritual path or the path to mastery, but this could be any path: health, mental, physical, the entrepreneurial path, or whatever. But you notice at first you're heavily motivated. You're on the path, hard body. Then things happen, then you fall off, and then before you know it, you're entirely off your path. So I wanted to make this video to give you some information, some tips to help you stay committed on the path. Before I begin that, let me, if you're watching this live, I know it's only a few people, it's mad early, but if you can hear me and see me well, press 9 in the chat box. And while I get some confirmation, just know that everything I do on this channel is sponsored by l9shop.com, the number 9shop.com, and also spiritualaccelerator.com. Also have a few more spots left for the retreat. Next year, early next year in March, the fifth Soul Glow or fourth Soul Glow spiritual retreat is up and running. Pretty much sold out, but we do have a few more spots left. So definitely go over to Soul Glow Retreat if you're interested in joining us. All right, so I do have some confirmation. So let me get started. I want to make this so people watching the playback can watch it pretty seamless. After I'm done dropping the information, I'll chop it up with y'all for a second. So we're talking about staying motivated on the path. So I want to loosely define or textbook define motivation. Motivation can be defined as the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. It also means the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. So like I said, when you first start, you're motivated. You want to do it. You desire to do something. So the first tip in order to stay motivated is you have to have a desire or want to do it. The simplest way I can explain that is having a why. WHY, a reason why you're doing it. Like I explained to y'all, everything that you want to do that you're not currently doing, if you have a strong enough reason why, you would be able to do it. The example I love to use, and if you've heard me speak often, I say it a lot because it's so fitting and it resonates with most people, is most of you do not want to go to work. You don't want to go to your job. It's either your boss you don't like, you're not getting paid enough, or you have coworkers you don't really vibe with. But most people do not want to go to work. But the reason you go to work is you want to pay your bills, you want to have food, you want to put clothing on your children, you want to all these different things that you need in life. If you don't have money, you're not able to get it. So most people have a strong reason to go to work because they don't want to be homeless. They want to eat. So your reason why is stronger than the work itself. Therefore, you're able to go to your job and deal with your funky boss, even when you don't want to, because you have a strong enough reason why. If you use that same example for your spiritual path, why do you want to become enlightened? Why do you want to master yourself? Why do you want to ascend on your spiritual path? You want to sit with this and find reasons that resonate with you. My reason may be different than Nikki Love, peace to the goddess, might be different than Nikki's, might be different than Aurora's, might be different than Saran. What up, Saran? Like everyone's reason why will be different. But when you identify your main motivating factor, aka your why, you're able to do anything. The other example I like to use is you hear stories all the time, or you can look up stories where a little old lady lifts up a car or lifts something very heavy because their child is trapped under such thing. Their reason why was stronger than the act itself. They couldn't typically lift up a car or lift up something heavy, but because they had a strong reason why, they were able to do so. So the first tip in order to stay motivated on your path, and it doesn't matter if it's a physical path, mental path, spiritual path, entrepreneurial path, health path, it doesn't matter. But having a strong reason why will help you get through the growing pains and help you stay motivated. The second one, Second reason, and this was actually birthed by my cousin, Orlando James. Shout out to him. I was chopping up with him yesterday. If y'all know my story, I talk about usually there's one person in your family, in your bloodline, that I would call the ambassador of your family, meaning that you're the only person into altars, into metaphysics, and into the occult. I happen to come from a family where all my blood cousins, all my first cousin and some other blood cousins are all conscious. I am by no means the only conscious person in my family. Hell, even my mom's conscious. So we're all on a spiritual path. I am by no means the only person on my bloodline with such. I was talking to my cousin Orlando James, shout out to O in St. Louis, and I posed a question to him to how do you stay motivated on the path? How do you prevent yourself from falling off? And he reminded me of another jewel that I want to share with y'all is you want to have a healthy obsession with whatever you're doing. Think about the things that you're obsessed about. And I'm not talking about a negative obsession where you're stalking a chick or something like that, or you got a dude on Facebook you're stalking, like some unhealthy obsession where you may not get nothing out of it. I'm talking about the things that you're obsessed in that are beneficial to your mind, body, and soul. What comes to mind real quick, say you're an infectious learner. You love learning about things. More than likely, you have books everywhere. You read a lot. That's a healthy obsession. If somebody come in a crib and see you with 5 books and read, and they will be, oh my God, like what's going on with you? You feel me? They don't be like, they probably be motivated, like, man, you getting it in. But in an unhealthy obsession, if somebody comes to your crib, you sitting there smoking crack after crack, just pipe after pipe, then that's obviously an unhealthy obsession. So think about the things that you have a healthy obsession for. You feel what I'm saying? That's going to be something else that keeps you motivated. Like I shared with y'all, if y'all know my story, when I first came into metaphysics in the occult, it was actually through holistic health. I was obsessed with learning information about alternative medicine, juice fasting, and stuff like that. I was obsessed with it. I didn't need any motivation. I didn't need anyone saying, Ali, read this book, watch this video, watch this documentary. I woke up, from the time I woke up, literally opened my eyes, brushed my teeth, I was studying. The last thing I did before I went to sleep, I was studying. Literally, from sun up to sundown, all I did was consume content. And y'all know I felt full. I got to the point where I felt full of all this information because I was studying. I don't know how long, but it was a long time where that's all I did was consume information. And then I got to the point where I was full. I was obsessed with gathering info. I got full. And then the spirit told me it was time to teach or share some of the things I knew. That's why I started my old YouTube channel. Then we did Mind Right Radio, the podcast. And then I started this YouTube channel. And the rest is her story or our story. So my point is, if you find something that you identify on a spiritual path and it resonates with you strongly, and you feel like you have a thirst for that information, you feel like that you can study that information forever. That is something that you have a healthy obsession for. So it may be crystals, it may be the altar, it may be meditation, it may be magic. It could be anything dealing with spirituality and metaphysics. The things that you're obsessed with, focus on that and maximize your energy towards that, and you'll never fall off. Whatever you have an obsession for, you'll never fall off. Some of you are obsessed with, I don't know if this is still popping off, but basketball wives. Some of you are obsessed with social media, being on Facebook and Instagram. Think about the things you really are obsessed with or addicted to, if you want to use that word. You don't need any motivation to get it popping. So find something in the spirituality and metaphysics that you're obsessed with, and I promise you, you will never need motivation in order to do it. And what it end up happening is that obsession, whatever you're studying, whatever you're doing and applying the information to, that's going to lead you to something else. So say, for instance, you're obsessed with magic and you're in a magic card body. Eventually, you may start wanting to dab into meditation because you see that meditation helps with your magic. And one thing leads to the next. This is a jewel, and I want to be very careful. I want to say this very slowly. The problem with most of you, in my opinion, based on working with a lot of different people, is you're focused on the end result as opposed to focusing on the journey. So let me use this example. Like, you may want to own your own business, be an entrepreneur. You're focused on that, but you're not focused on the first step. You want to just bypass everything and just automatically just be copping millions and stuff like that. Because we live in this microwave society where you can get everything very instant, it is instant gratification, that ties over to things that actually take hard work. It takes work to build a business. As anyone who's done a business, it takes work. Speaking for myself, I wasn't comfortable till I was doing YouTube, teaching classes, writing books. It took me a few years to get comfortable where I was like, you know what? I'm done with my job. And even when I did that, I wasn't making as much with my business as I was making at my job, which I retired from driving the truck. So my point is, don't get focused on the end result. Get married to the process. And that leads me to my third thing that I want to share with y'all. And I think this is the most powerful is you don't want to focus on the temporary feeling of motivation. Because when you first start something, like going to the gym is a good example. That first time you go to the gym, you're motivated. You're in there for 2 hours. You done copped all the gear. You got your water bottle. You're paying your membership dues. You're eating right and all that stuff. And then what happens is after that first week, you don't feel as motivated. Your body is sore. You're like, damn, I don't want to go to the gym. You feel what I'm saying? Then it gets to the point where you ain't been in a week. Then it's 2 weeks. Before you know it, you're paying for a membership that you're not even going to. There's a true fact or a stat where most people that have a gym membership don't even go because they don't want to cancel the membership because in their mind they feel like they're losing or they failed. So they just keep paying for the membership but never using it. I might be speaking directly to you. You may fall under that category. And the reason why is because you didn't focus on what truly gets you motivated and keeps you doing something, and that is creating a healthy habit. So a healthy habit is the third reason that keep you motivated. The way I like to explain this is once you start focus on, okay, I'm just going to build my routine. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's use the gym, for example. Let's say I'm going to go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Instead of focusing on the end result, losing weight, looking good, feeling good, I'm just going to focus on getting it in. So Wednesday, I may not feel good, but I'm just going to make it there. I'm going to do a little bit. Friday, I may feel a little better, so I'm going to do a little bit more. But my goal is not the end result, going in there, spending 2 hours. My only goal is to get there. You can use this with meditation or any spiritual practice. Say you want to meditate Monday through Friday. You know, Monday you might be, man, I'm getting it in. I got 30 minutes in. Tuesday you may not feel as motivated, but don't just quit. Spend 2 minutes doing it. Hell, spend 1 minute. Spend any amount of time doing it. What you want to focus on is creating a habit, not creating motivation, not creating an end result, creating a habit. Think about how you brush your teeth. You don't need to be motivated to brush your teeth. Think about washing your funky butt, go and take a shower. You don't need to be motivated to do that. You do these things because they're habitual. You made a habit out of it. So when you get to the point where you create a habit, like the example I can use is my AM routine is I meditate every morning for 30 minutes and I'm in the gym usually at 6:30. I do 20 minutes of cardio and I work out. So every day, at least 6 days a week, that's what I do. And it's to the point now where it'd be harder for me to break the habit of meditating, going to the gym. It would be harder for me to fall off because I created a habit. See, you don't get this because you haven't got to the point where it becomes instinctual. You don't have to think about it. And like I said, when you create a healthy habit or when you create a healthy routine, it's going to be harder to fall off. So just think about that as far as when you're doing whatever you want to do. Focus on creating a habit. Don't focus on the end result because if you're looking at meditation and you think the end result is you're going to be out of body, your intuition is going to be on fleek and all these things, that takes time. So if you're focused on that end result, you're not going to get there in a week. So you're going to be unmotivated. You're not going to want to do it. because you're like, man, why am I motivated? I'm not even seeing any results. But if you focus on creating a habit, eventually, before you know it, you're just focused on the process. It's sort of like, don't focus on the what they said, don't focus on the destination, enjoy the journey. That's the same thing I'm trying to relay to y'all. Focus on habits. I'm keep repeating it because it needs to become ingrained in you. That's why I was sharing with cuz when I talked to my cousin or I was like, man, it's at this point, there's certain habits I've created in my life. I can't fall off. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that seem hard at first, like I'm not gonna lie to you, like years ago when I started meditate, I couldn't do it consistently because I was focused on the end result. But when I was like, man, screw that, I'm just gonna get 5 minutes in. It seems so insignificant, but like, man, I'm gonna get 5 minutes in. And it's just you building up that muscle memory. I believe they say it takes 66 days to create a habit. Some people say it takes 30 days to create a habit. It's going to depend on your nature. But I can assure you, if you focus on this before you know it, you'll have a healthy habit. And as long as you have a strong reason why, and you deal with things you're obsessed with, you put all those three things together, you would never fall off of anything. It will be harder to fall off on whatever you're dealing with if you focus on those things. A book I always like to recommend for creating the habits is, I don't know if I have it up here, is a book called The Compound Effect. COMPOUNDEFFECT. The Compound Effect, by Hardy, I believe. If somebody know the right name, put in the chat. But The Compound Effect is a good book to let you know how small incremental changes over time can lead to big results. So the example he used in the book is, if you gain like, say you gain 1 pound a month, you gained 1 pound a month. You're not going to notice that during the time, but at the end of the year, that's 12 pounds. You're going to notice that. After 5 years, that's 60 pounds. You're definitely going to notice that. On the flip side, if you lose 1 pound a month, you're not going to notice that in the short term, but at the end of the year, you lost 12 pounds. You're going to notice that. You can use that same analogy with money. You can use that same analogy with gaining spiritual light. You can use it with anything. So the book Compound Effect is one that I recommend as far as helping you create small incremental changes that leads to big results. All right. So this has been Ali. If you're watching this playback, peace and love to you. Appreciate you for rocking out with the channel. Remember to go to l9shop.com, the number 9shop.com. That's our metaphysical superstore. We're phasing out some of the things that you can commonly get, like incense, crystals, and certain items. So make sure to go to the menu item, click close out items, and you can cop stuff for the low. We're going to start populating the store with more of our own stuff. I got some herbal mixes that's going to be cracked. That's going to be on the website, new talismans, and just a bunch of new things that me and my partner, Son Sarah, makes. Also, if you're interested in working with me, go to spiritualaccelerator.com. That's the only spot that my attention is on 100%. If you go there, we have multiple webcasts every month where we're talking live, chopping up like this. You're able to come on screen, talk to me in real time. Beautiful thing, beautiful community. Make sure to go to spiritualaccelerator.com, read all the information, and if it resonates with you, you can join today. Also, if you've been thinking about coming to the retreat, the Soul Glow Spiritual Retreat, I've been off of it for about 4 years. I honestly thought I was done with it, but the spirit clearly told me it was time to do it. And the proof is in the pudding. I put it out before I even shared it on social media, before I even shared it with my email list, before I even shared it on YouTube. It was over halfway sold out. So if you don't know it's something spiritual going on, I don't know what to tell you. Go to Soul Glow Retreat. If you've been interested in joining one of my retreats, now's the time to do it. I cannot guarantee you that I'm going to do it another year. All right. So what's up with everybody in the chat? What's good with y'all? What's good? What's good? Do I have any questions pertaining to what we were talking about? Let me know. What up? What up, Bernice? Good to see you, my dear. See, Nikki Love would be in the building. Glad to see. I think you was at the first retreat. It's good to see you at the this upcoming one. Cool people, yo. Like I brag all the time, yo. I attract some of the coolest spiritual people in the world, yo. And like the people I attract, usually you can't even tell they're spiritual until they start opening their mouth or we're building on something. They look regular and just regular down to earth, cool people. I love spiritual people like that. In my opinion, the phoniest people are cats that come and they speak a certain way and talk to you a certain way. They wear a certain clothing that they really don't want to wear and stuff like that. And it's more of an act. And that's why I was telling you about how spirituality feeds the ego for a lot of people. And y'all know people like this, where you see them a certain way, but soon as something happens, they start getting regular human, start flipping off on people. They really don't have a high moral code, all these different things or whatever. So my point is, you don't have to speak a certain way to be spiritual. You can curse, you can do whatever. That doesn't change that you're a spiritual being that's consciously on your spiritual path. But focus on the internal change. Remember, spirituality is internal. Metaphysics is the unseen. Occult is the unseen. You're dealing with the unseen. You're not dealing with your physical being and dressing it up and making your vessel look better. It's an energy, it's a vibration when you're dealing with spirituality. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you can be highly spiritual, rocking a polo, rocking Gucci, whatever. If you're into the name brands and stuff like that, that doesn't make you more or less spiritual. You can go to certain places. That doesn't make you less or more spiritual. It's your inner vibration. It's your light. You know what I'm saying? And that you can't measure that physically. There's no physical tool I can put up on somebody and be like, okay, yeah, you dress this way, you're spiritual. You use these words. You said namaste, you're spiritual. A lot of people are using that to cast spells on you to make you feel like they're trying to convey who they are, but they're not. That was one of my main motivating factors, reason why for coming back on YouTube, man. I need to start pulling skirts. A lot of these cats are fugazi. And I think it takes people like me who I've created a certain audience. It is what it is. I have a following, if you want to call it like that. People look up to me.